Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Crypto Night in Canada. Dun, 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 dun. Tim and Nancy Danter coming to you live with our Crypto Night crew. We've got to Tim's right. Well, Tim's in the center square tonight. Are you going to say something, Tim?
Yeah, you got to turn your. I'm getting bad reverb from someone.
Yeah, there's a lot of feedback coming in from
Nancy,
somebody.
if you got something live going, anyone got two things going on the same thing, you got to turn it down.
I have nothing else going on.
Huh.
I think it's probably somebody else with their speakers coming through, so I'd check everyone's audio.
Okay.
Anyway, so to the center square tonight, at top center square, Tim Danter. And then beside Tim, we've got Ken, the Great White Vapor. Below Ken, we got Ryan from the HiRye channel. Your plaque is gone from the wall, Ryan.
I know. The dog went on this table today, like destroyed everything. I've got to super glue a little bit of the corner of the plaque.
You could have just said that you sold it to buy the dip, man.
I know.
That would have been so much better.
Seriously. And okay, so
more
and below,
coin.
That's right. More you need some Doge to pay for that. Anyways, and below Tim Danter, we got Haas. And Haas, you got a new channel name. I went to go and find you, and you got a new title called Haas HODLs or something.
Haas HODLs, yep.
Haas
that
HODLs.
is right.
That's awesome. And then beside Haas, we got the great Tim Perry in the house. Heyo, everybody. And everybody that's in the live chat, it's awesome. I can see Candace, obviously, and Sean and Michael and Chris and Gary and Chris. And this is just wonderful. I know Nelson's in the house, Nikki and Ken. How's everybody tonight?
I'm rocking and rolling.
Don't all speak at once.
We've had some green.
Wait,
so
I got to type my
nice.
response in.
Yeah, it's been a good day. I think everyone's happy to see a nice uptrend in their portfolio after the dramatic wild ride that everyone was on. The big thing that we need to know about that wild ride is now, welcome to crypto, everybody. This is it. If that was your first massive drop, welcome. Here's your battle scar. Wear it proudly. Now, next time somebody sees a 30% dip, you can go, oh, that's cute, right? So you got that under your belt. We got that out of the way. Of course, we can't still look at everything super bullish. We still have price targets that we have to meet for Bitcoin. Like we still need to see $42,000 Bitcoin before we can get a little bit more bullish on the trend. And then again, until we see 52,000, I'm not particularly bullish that we're going to end this market cycle this year. But that doesn't mean that we can't pick it up in 2022. So overall, doing good today.
Excellent. And do we know what is the price of Bitcoin at right now?
Currently $39,166.
Okay. Well, it could go on a bit of a run.
Yeah.
That's good. And Tim Perry, how are you doing? You're pretty quiet right now.
Yeah, I've been sleepy today, so.
Oh no, have you been up all night doing some trades?
No, I haven't touched anything since that day. Well, I haven't had to, and I'm basically, I think I'm batting down the hatches with Matic for a bit. And I was telling Tim today that I got in a bunch of amazing farms and stuff like that. So I'm not even worried about the bear trend because I'm making so much on all my farms and LPs.
Okay. And Route is one of your farming, right?
Root, yeah. Define, Matic, and Quick. I'm just basically those four right now. I've gotten out of Aave, I've gotten out of everything, and I've just positioned myself in those. I'm getting. I was telling Tim on my one on the Define and Matic LP right now. I'm getting 1,500% on my Define.
Wow.
So yeah, so I'm making about $3,000 worth of Define in a month, and my other buddy's up to about $6,000, about 5,500.
Wow!
You get 55 Define a day, and Define right now is at $4. So just do the math. And
my goodness!
Yeah, I got 150% APY in Quick and Matic, and that's for both. So I get both Matic and Quick out of that one. I've got a Root and Define where I'm getting 500%. So it's just like I'll just sit in those.
That's crazy.
And Candace is right. There's barely any Matic left on exchanges. It just surpassed Binance Chain today for transactions.
Really?
3 to 4x the amount of transactions as Ethereum. It's moved up 16 spots in total value locked for liquidity in about 2 weeks. So yeah, there's just no reason to not just sit on my hands. Why? Like, it's such a no-brainer that it's unbelievable.
It's not broken.
Well, it's a use case, like, right, like, not to use, but Cardano's been doing okay, actually. It's rebounded pretty decent. But once again, you've got all those things that we're waiting for. Well, we don't have to wait for Polygon right now. It's doing stuff. It's making money. It's got good, you can get in and out of farms with 3 cents as opposed to $60 and stuff like that. So I'm just super bullish on that right now. And in all fairness, if anyone's been watching the price action, Matic's basically right back to where it started last week. Quick spot. I think Matic's literally up 400% on the month, which shows that it was pretty much unfazed by this. So I'm feeling really good about the price action as well.
Oh,
That's
geez.
incredible. There's a lot of talk.
I just read Journey's comment. Journey, that's horrible. His aunt's house burnt down last night. My gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Sorry, buddy. Well, yeah, that's a tough one. That's definitely a tough one. But
Wow.
Kudos for even making it in to make the comment, bud. You're a rock star here in the community.
Yeah, yeah. So sorry about that.
My biggest thing is, hopefully everyone's okay. As long as everyone's okay, think about it this way. Everyone has their health. Who cares about a bunch of wood, right? I know it's
That's
stressful, but,
Yeah, Journey, our thoughts are with you, man. Okay, let's try to pivot from that. That's horrible.
Well, to pivot from that, then I will say this relating to Journey, a little segue. He's got the book, I've already kind of worked that out. So Journey was one of the people who won the books last live stream there. So Journey, that's all getting sorted out, buddy. So you've got your Candlestick Confidential coming to you in the mail from Amazon. So that is a nice kind of pick me up right there. So I'm happy that Journey was the one to win. Definitely.
That's right. We should have called it the Corona Candlesticks.
Oh, geez. You guys, terrible. So, Ken, what are you investing in these days? Are you holding tight? What's going on in your world?
Yeah. I'm just holding tight. I'm actually been looking at Litecoin for gains right now. It's been jumping pretty good. So, but other than that, I'm just holding it. Yeah.
Really? Eh?
Yeah.
I wish I got on Litecoin when it dipped to I don't know if this was, I'm sure it was American dollars. I think it got as low as 140 odd at some point. And then, I don't know if you heard that. My dog's just snoring over there. But anyway, but Litecoin shot right back up. But I'm at a point, for me, I was having a serious case of FUD last week in the past 10 days. I think everyone, at least who's new to this whole scene, was having a little bit of FUD. But obviously it's a little bit more difficult to track unless you write down every transaction. There's no average buy tallied up or anything. I'm almost at that break even point. If maybe $100 up or $100 down, I'm kind of like right at that point now that Ethereum's kind of bounced back. So I'm feeling pretty okay about the last few days.
So talk to me guys about Litecoin a little bit, because this is like, I don't think I really understand the use case for Litecoin.
There really isn't a use case for it other than it's very cheap to send Litecoin from one exchange to another.
But why would you hold? Why would somebody hold it? For instance, like what would is it like a Bitcoin where you would hold it like gold?
It's the it's the old silver of cryptocurrency before everything started coming out. There was Bitcoin and then Litecoin. The guy that created Litecoin dumped all his Litecoin on the market years ago. So I don't know what the thing is. Everybody just keeps buying it, and it keeps bouncing $4 or $5 here or there. That's quick gains you can make. So,
okay. Well, we'll maybe come back on that one a little bit later. But Gary has said that he's trying to figure out Pancake, and he says Haas has been very helpful. Because you're bullish on Pancake Swap, right, Haas?
Yeah, I use Pancake Swap a lot. I think it's, if you want to learn DeFi and learn how to yield farm and everything else, Pancake Swap is such an easy barrier of entry. You get set up on the Binance Smart Chain, send everything to your MetaMask from Binance directly, buy a little bit of cake, pull it up as liquidity. You can even stake your cake. The APYs are between 50, 60, 130%. It's all around a great platform. I'm super bullish on where it's going to go, and it's a great entry point to start learning about the other dexes.
So, I'm kind of with with Haas, I'm kind of the alternate side. If you want to learn, come to the Matic side. And right now on DeFi, you can get just ridiculous APY.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Matic, but the big thing here is just like get into DeFi. Like that's the big thing. When you saw a crypto dump in 2017, what happened after? Eventually, we went on a DeFi boom. And we're gonna go through the same type of narrative, whether or not we're in a bull or bear cycle. DeFi is going to fire up. So get involved now while you still can, definitely.
I said that in the last podcast that like I do think that we're in a bear trend, but there's no reason that you guys can't make money, but you got to be more selective of the narratives and you got to follow your trends and stuff. And it's going to be a pure DeFi show. It's going to be whatever enhances ETH to scale. It's going to be all the ETH killers like, Cardano and Solana and stuff like that. But yeah.
So, Tim, I have a question for you because I thought we were in alt season, and I thought that a few episodes ago or a few shows ago, we talked about that it was going to be extremely bumpy. So I am just thinking, oh, this is part of the bumpy process. But now you're saying it's bear market, bearish.
Because I got proven wrong. I wasn't right. So I have to admit defeat. But at the same time, one could argue, last week, I know you said the same thing that, oh, you thought it was going to be this bumpy. Well, if it does turn out to be an alt season, I definitely did not see that big of a bump in the middle. But who knows yet? But everyone else was right on. I had so many buddies in my trading thing calling for low 30K in a bear market. So they're more right. So I've kind of had to put my ego aside and my bias, and you gotta switch it up sometimes. If you live and die by hopium or whatever it is that everyone's smoking, you'll get eaten alive in this market. So that's why I watched some of how my other coins were playing, got out of them, and so far, like I said, I've done really well in this storm right now, and I still think Matic outperforms even in this little bit. And when I say bear market, I'm talking like a macro bear market. I don't think this is going to be what some of my buddies are saying till 2022 and stuff like that. I just don't see how we can go from a 1 year semi-decent bull market, but where most coins didn't really do a whole lot, from like 2018, 2019, which was a horrible bear market where everything dropped to 98%. And then all of a sudden you're telling me we're going to go back to this nasty bear market. It doesn't make sense to me too much. And the V pattern reversals on a lot of coins yesterday made me a little more optimistic that maybe we are in this super cycle that some people are tossing the name around. And maybe we're just going to go back to a big alt season. But for now, I don't advise. I'm not going to pump hopium into people when I'm uncertain myself.
I think a big thing that comes up with, especially the super cycle, I did a video on this, and I specifically talked about how a super cycle would need some sort of massive retracement and a trade level for an extended period of time to build up that support. Because as it stood, we were like far too fast to do anything like a super cycle. It would have looked similar to 2017. But when you look at the market peak, if you consider what we just went through, the market peak, which definitely isn't, it's not at all like 2017 or other bull markets. Now, that being said, I think what we saw happen was an obvious trend reversal. Bitcoin was going for a correction. It was just a well-timed, orchestrated FUD campaign around Bitcoin. There was a lot that happened throughout that week, from Elon Musk tweeting to eventually Chinese miners just capitulating out of their bags and selling everything. It was a shit show, to say the least. So really, I think that was more orchestrated than anything. Yeah. Going by the trend, right? We were seeing the trend reversal. They dumped it further. Now we're just trading in this zone so people can get in before we blast off eventually. So
what about the theory? I'm hearing a whole bunch of whales got together and decided to short Bitcoin.
Yeah. I mean, like, there's going to be short pressure. The big thing here, we learned it from GameStop. We learned it from the 2008 housing market. Shorts are important for the markets, right? I'm not trying to like diminish shorts, but we need regulations around in terms of showing your shorts, making sure shorts are open to the public completely, so everyone can see everyone's position. That I think is super important. But it's important to have shorts because shorts expose things. That's what happened with Michael Burry in the housing market. He saw that these crap mortgages were being bundled up and sold as AAAs and shorted the market because he knew people would default once rates readjusted. These shorts, that shorting mechanism is for the really technical people willing to take a massive risk, but these people are betting on some sort of fraud or something else that's happening within the stock price. When it becomes a problem is when we see hedge funds and whales manipulating the price and shorting it and then longing it back on the way up. So they're making money going down and up. It's an insane
that's what
money.
I was thinking was going on right now with this. 'Cause it was
It's part of it. It's part of it. There was a lot that went to it. It's not just one. That's why I don't want to say Elon Musk was the sole reason, right? It wasn't just Elon. But it was this cascade of 20 different events. China banning Bitcoin, miners capitulating out of their bags, Elon Musk's stupid tweets, all of this stuff all happened within the span of a week while the trends were reversing for Bitcoin. It was a perfect storm to make it dump. I see this as just them opening the doors and allowing people to buy in at a cheaper price. Institutions, not you and me, because they're hoping to shake out dumb money. They want the smart money in, right? They don't want us.
Yeah, they want JP Morgan in there.
Exactly. Well, next, right? Goldman Sachs just said that cryptocurrency is an asset class. So if you're scared after that dump, follow the smart money, right? Look at what they're doing. They're buying Bitcoin. They're buying crypto. So it is what it is. Cardano too. It's on the list. There are investment funds coming up for Cardano, regardless of whether or not the chain's done. I don't think you should look at it like that. I think you should be looking at what this is going to do in the next 10 to 15 years. Make a little speculative bet.
I don't understand why we have what seems to be a whole whack of adoption from Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and stuff like that. And yet it seems to me that the US is so behind the eight ball on the ETFs.
I think that's on purpose.
Yeah, they're buying in secrecy.
Yeah, they want to have all the Bitcoin and then
because they want to build their bags, right?
Themselves. Yes, and then they're going to open up ETFs, and then you can buy in. Only until they have their Bitcoin, you can buy in.
Isn't that the kettle calling the pot black?
Oh, exactly. This is the name of the game.
Yeah. When have banks ever had ethics?
Yeah, exactly. The morals don't exist, especially when money's involved for a lot of people.
Yeah. Nate's saying it's market manipulation, but it's an unregulated space. So, of course,
Yeah.
And that's it. You have to take the good with the bad because I don't want it to be regulated because then I won't make these gains.
I'm a free market guy, so
you got to take it.
I'm a free market person too, so you got to take the lumps the way it goes. I don't want them to manipulate it. I think it'll shake out the way it's going to shake out. Well, it's really interesting. So there was a couple of other, Candace had a comment in here. I got to scroll back. She was watching it and she said, as soon as she realized what Bitcoin was doing at the beginning of this, she moved a good chunk of it into Tether. And then at the bottom, she moved it into ADA and DOT so she could stake it, which is smart. But,
what a beautiful trade.
Yeah. We weren't watching it that closely, neither Tim or I. So we didn't catch what was going on until all of a sudden it was sliding way down.
Here's a question I have for you. Which is more secure or which is better off, or are they both equal? Tether or USDC?
Tether.
I'd personally say USDC. There's a lot more regulations happening, but I will say the FUD with USDT is nothing. People saying that they're being investigated, that thing was dropped a while ago. There was a settlement behind the scenes, whatever that settlement was. I don't know what's happening now, but I think it's more or less FUD. But I trust the outfit that's running USDC a little bit more. So that's why I lean to them.
Yeah. Nelson saying even in a free market, there'll be manipulation because there is greed, but I think it's better than having tons of regulation.
Yep.
And now KB Direct Online has said this a number of times in the comments here. He said he believes there's one more dump coming soon. What do we all think of that? And because he's saying that he thinks it's a trap and he can see it dipping again. What do we think of this?
I'm hearing that a lot too.
Yeah. I've been saying we're not out of the woods.
But this is when you go on crypto Twitter, everyone always just goes totally the opposite. Like I avoided crypto Twitter for a few days because everyone's like, "Oh my God, sky's falling!" Like, no, like and all these whales and the bots that they track this kind of stuff, in my opinion. And I obviously, this is just an opinion. I think we're just going to chop for a bit.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're going to trade between those.
Everybody. Yeah, you're going to screw the longs, you're going to screw the shorts just by chopping and doing like little dips here and there. And then who knows? I don't know the long term, obviously, but you could still chop.
And really, like that's the most bullish scenario. We don't want it to go straight up, because if it goes straight up, it's just going to come right back down. We want it to chop for a little bit and build enough support, and then start moving up when it's more comfortable, right? So, yeah, it's good if it trades level.
I mean, either way, too, dominance has started dropping a bit too, because it did a 5% leap during that whole stuff, and now it's already back down to, well, I follow the CoinGecko one, and it's not accurate per se, but it's at 41 point whatever, so that's not even that bad either. So,
which was that, Tim? I missed the first part of that.
The Bitcoin dominance.
Oh, Bitcoin dominance. Okay,
yeah,
I missed
like
the first part.
It's still nothing like, because obviously, if Bitcoin goes volatilely up or down, it hurts altcoins. And obviously with the dominance, that's when they take more of a beating. But it's been dropping again. Obviously, you're seeing rises in altcoins, because for a while there, for that week, it was like Bitcoin sneezed and every coin started dropping. Mm-hmm. And now it's like it's been doing what it was doing last week, which is up and down $300, and coins are now just saying, screw you, I'm gonna start going back up.
Yeah.
But that could be a bull trap. It could be, but I think we're just going to chop. I think it's just too many people right now are going one way or the other. And it just reminds me of 2018, 2019. I can't remember. Bitcoin for about 4 or 5 months stayed between 6 and 6,800. Basically, it didn't move, and people don't realize it doesn't have to go up or down. It can just screw around with you at the same level for a while. And that would be the best thing to do right now with everybody on edge. If I was thinking like a whale.
Oh, well, lots to think about.
I'm buying more Bitcoin, that's for sure.
Yeah. I once again I got money on DeFi outperforming both ETH and Bitcoin.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
But you can make a yield, right? You can absolutely make more money in DeFi and a lot of DeFi applications, 100%. And those tokens. Any token you could easily say is going to outperform Bitcoin in the long term, if we're talking about macro 5 to 10 years. But realistically, the safest will always be the elegant store of value that is Bitcoin. So it is akin to having gold, right? So maybe for somebody that wants to take a little bit more risk, maybe then you want a nice spread of Matic, some XRP, some Cardano, some Polkadot, something like my portfolio. Whereas if you don't want to take as much risk, loading up on Bitcoin is going to be the best and safest thing that you can do. Plus, you can leverage off that Bitcoin, earn an interest. I think it's a win-win if you just buy Bitcoin. I've been buying Bitcoin throughout this whole dip. Haven't been thinking about it. Dollar cost averaging every single day. It just buys in Shakepay, and I just leave it. That's it, and that's my Bitcoin reserves. It's not a lot, but it's still the top 3 tokens of my portfolio. So.
This is a very peculiar night. Poor Journey had a terrible thing, but Redbeard just won $797 on the radio today. That's nice, amazing. Right? That's amazing.
Yeah, he lost $1 in gas fees.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. So I'm just looking to see some of the other comments. Candace said she's just adjusted her buying now. 40% ADA, 30% DOT, 15% Bitcoin, and 15% ETH. So she's staying with all the major stuff, not going into what you're doing, Tim?
Well, Matic is, in my opinion, Matic's earned the blue chip status.
Oh, it has now.
Well, it should. It's literally it's on. If you go on DeFi Pulse right now, it's about to take Compound Labs for total value locked and liquidity in DeFi. It's moved up 15 spots in 2 weeks. It's about to take, it's literally going to be Aave and Polygon. And Polygon will probably even it'll be the #1 total value locked in DeFi. I just mentioned you factor in that it's doing more more transactions than everything but Bitcoin in the whole crypto universe right now.
Wow.
It's making so much money off all these transactions. It's got these amazing farming. It's got faster transactions. It just today just rolled that it's doing SDK, so it's going to try to do the whole cross chain thing. Like
that's
this
excellent.
is the biggest no brainer. I'm going to be a boring guy on these podcasts now. He's like, "What are you doing, Tim?" I'm like, "Same thing I did last week."
In Matic,
or at least
get a sign. Just get a sign.
Yeah,
hold up, Matic. I want to go back to Redbeard for a second. That he just won $797 on the radio. So I'm going to put this out to the viewers. What would you do with $797? Where would you put $797 right now? If you want to leave a comment, and we'll go around. And so we'll start with Ken. Ken, you just won $797. Where are you going to put your $797?
That's a good question. I'd put it into Matic right now because I missed it. Like, I'm not in a position to buy per se coins right now, and I kind of missed the Matic train when it was down at 109. So I'd buy Matic right now. It does look like it's going to be just like Theta. It's going to do something good in the future. So,
and we know Tim Perry's going to buy more Matic.
Well, actually, I just literally almost bought that exact amount today, worth of US dollars, but I bought DeFi.
That's awesome.
I put in the 1,400% APY.
Oh, nice. Ryan, where will you put $797?
Probably a little bit more into XRP and ETH, but I'm just like looking at a bunch up in the background here, looking up more and more about Matic. As much as I'd like to say I'd hop on the train, I definitely obviously need to do more research on my end before I spend my money on it. But not that it's bad or anything. I just don't know anything about it. But that's where I'm at right now.
I can give you a quick synopsis. All it is it's building up, like it's essentially building on top of Ethereum. So it's just enhancing everything Ethereum does. And basically, Ethereum's got expensive fees right now. It's slow. It's got like all these issues, and it has issues with scaling. So Polygon Matic is just enhancing that. So everything that is on the Ethereum side is now switching over to on top of the Matic network. So if you're bullish on ETH, you'd be bullish on Matic right now. Because it's just basically like steroids for Ethereum.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey Neil, welcome. We're just asking, if you won $797, what would you buy right now?
A fan or an AC unit.
Oh, are you hot?
Yeah, I live in an older house, so screw crypto right now.
He just wants it, Eric. He wants to feel cool. Well, you know what? That's
maybe
really
some
good.
XRP at the end. I've never bought it. I'm feeling like I should.
I'm thinking you should too. I got a sneaking suspicion.
I haven't bought anything for a little while. That's for sure.
What do you mean? Look at this guy here. We know this guy. But Mark, what are you doing?
Oh my gosh!
Buy Doge?
That's crazy.
Mark.
No, he'd be XRP every day, all day. Mark works for me. Hi, Mark. So Haas, what would you buy? $797. What would you buy?
Oh, it's hard because I wouldn't say all XRP, even though I'm a huge XRP bull. My XRP bags are it's my number one holding, right? So I'm going to spread it out a little bit. I'm definitely going to say it probably most go into dot parachains in terms of like Zor, Val, P-swap tokens, stuff that I'm hugely bullish on right now, stuff that I'm playing with. I love the DeFi. I love the P-swap platform. I think it's really going places. I think it's going to rival what's happening with Ethereum. So, to go on the train of Matic and everything else, I think Matic's going to be a great investment, especially if you're earning an APY in Celsius specifically, because they give a great APY on Matic. Even if you don't want to get involved with the DeFi, but you absolutely should. If you're buying Matic, definitely get involved with that. I'm a little hesitant to call anything a blue chip, but I think that there are other alternatives to Ethereum, which is what Polkadot is poised to do, and then what Cardano is going to do later on. So I'm super excited for the Polkadot system, way more bullish than Ethereum. So that's why me personally, I'm going most of the funds Polkadot, a little bit into XRP.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, let's go to the group. So Nate says he would get Bitcoin. Richard said XRP. Jay Youngman would be doing what Tim and Ken would do with buy some more Matic. Chris Brophy wants more education. I wish I could be educated better with Matic. Setup puzzle.
I'd be willing to do like a recorded podcast with you guys again, and we can go through the ecosystem a bit.
That would be good.
A lot of people are asking questions like, let me go back here. Nate had said something, is it a second layer protocol? I believe actually it's considered a side chain, Matic. So it's not quite second layer, but I don't know. They're indifferent to me.
Well, explain a sidechain. That's the first time I've heard that term.
That's why I said it's basically the same thing, because they're indistinguishable to me. There's a lot of stuff like I asked everyone about roll-ups last week, and it turned out to be a lot simpler version than I thought. There's all these different terms that they try to mask, right? Like staking is interest, and someone just asked, where's the best place to stake? The best place to stake, Matic, is like Haas said on Celsius. But if you're looking to get into the pools and stuff like this, so you would go to DeFi and you would check out their farms, and you would have to own both Matic and DeFi. And basically, when you start a pool, and we could do a more detailed thing about this, but if for anyone who understands this, you would add liquidity, and it gives you an LP token, and then you can stake. You can go to their farm, and it'll say Matic DeFi. It'll be a double, Matic DeFi, and you do 50-50. So if you do $1,000 worth of DeFi, $1,000 worth of Matic, you put it into your farm, and then you just get the APY. It's a one-way APY for that one, so you get only DeFi back. So you get 1,500% a year of whatever DeFi you put in back. So if you were doing 1,000, you would get 15,000 back.
How do I find the DEX? Because I'm looking up DeFi and I can't find it.
DFYN.
That's it. Thank you.
And then obviously you go into the farm. Well, you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I get it from there.
For everyone out there, Tim, if someone's already purchased one of these coins, how would they be able to send it to their Matic wallet?
Right. So that's a great. Yeah, I
want to know.
Yeah,
I just set it up.
Well, similar, and Neil will obviously send you this. Or
I'm still a newbie.
I don't know if am I allowed to post comments or no? Can I do that?
Can you? Or Tim Danter, can you share so that we can see what's going on here?
I guess I could post it in private chat and then
share what? What am I sharing?
I'm about to give you remember how I helped you get the Binance chain in your MetaMask?
Yes.
You have to do that. You have to do that for Matic as well. It's quite easy. So I'm gonna send you in the private chat thing.
Yep.
And then you can just post it on that. And basically, if you follow the instructions on this, you will be integrated with your Matic MetaMask. Now, for the beginners, since we're going down this rabbit hole, you need a different contract. So you need to use the Matic Explorer, not the ETH. You know how everybody knows that to get a contract for Uniswap and stuff, you would go on CoinGecko or whatever, you would copy the contract?
Yes.
So for Aave, there's a different contract on the east side and a different one on the Matic side. So you have to take the Matic contract for when you're using your Matic MetaMask. And obviously we can go into more details about that, but obviously you can trade in and out for pennies on the dollar. And that's why I love it, because when I used to farm on, so I just said that to Tim in the private chat, when I used to farm on Ethereum, it would be, and this is when fees were even decent, I'd be paying $30 to approve and then $30 to send it into the actual farm. Now it's like 6 cents. So I can, with DeFi, the reason they have a really good tokenomics to make sure that people aren't dumping their gains from their farming right after, like just withdrawing and dumping their profits. So there is a vesting schedule. So just to let you know, it's 30 days. And then when it comes out, then all your profits, you only get it every 2 months. You get 25% of what you made. That way it keeps from everybody just dumping when they get their gains and bringing the price down. Whereas with Quick, so I've got a Quick Matic farm right now for 150% APY. Every other day, I just compound it. I withdraw and then I re-put it back in just to compound my gains.
So here's a question for you, because I'm playing around with the system right now.
Yep.
So to bridge over to that MetaMask, do I just simply have ETH in my normal ETH MetaMask and it carries over as long as I'm on the right network?
That's a good question. So I have the bridge as well. I can send that to Tim. And the bridge right now is nice and cheap because understand if you're coming from the east side, you pay the ETH fees to get to the Matic side. And obviously, if you're going the other way, you'd pay the cheap to go the other way. Okay, so this is the bridge. So
just to be correct, you're still paying the bridge to get over on the system. Is that right?
Yeah, you're
from ETH.
But
okay.
if you're going from the Matic side, you're paying pennies on the dollar. But if
how do I fund from the Matic side? Is there a way?
So
like,
I'm sending the bridge right now.
Okay.
And Tim can post it. And basically, you'll know what to do. Obviously, you'll connect your wallet. And I did it with Union and Aave a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. And I just, obviously, it switches. It ends up showing in your other wallet. I can't remember if I had to add the contract on the other side to see it, but.
Wow. You know what? This is great because this is peer-to-peer. We're just teaching each other how to do this. Nobody's like completely an expert on any of this. So this is where I think, Ken, you said this to me a long time ago, that the best way to do crypto is with a group of people.
Yeah,
so exactly. You can have these kinds of live conversations.
Yeah, and you're seeing why. This is why, because everybody kind of knows a little bit about this and that and the other. Bring us all together and it makes us stronger. We get to know a lot more.
The one big thing that I've learned, especially in this day and age, right? You think about just like how money is managed now. What do most people do? They go talk to a financial advisor. All right, set up a stock portfolio. Do this for me. Automatic. This. Boom. Bing, bam, boom. I have my savings. That's what people want. That's the next thing. So
one and done. Yeah.
Yeah. Throwing it out there. Any businessmen want to start a business here in Canada? Come talk to me. We'll get the right licensing to do like a DeFi thing, but eventually that's what's going to happen.
Hey, I know a guy that does passport, so we could do a license too.
Oh.
I got to figure it out because there's financial advisement laws that are in Canada, so it's hard to just say, hey, I'm gonna open up DeFi portfolios and do everyone's DeFi for them.
But do those apply to DeFi? Because DeFi,
I don't know. I have no idea. I have no clue. But I'm not going to be the one going to jail for it. So.
Come on! You both got the headline news.
Take it as a learning curve.
Did you see what they did with Charlie Shim? No. I'm not going to be the first one to get shot.
No, but you know what? This is how many people have I talked to? Have we all talked to recently? Tim Perry more than anybody, and Haas, I'm sure the same thing. People want somebody to take their hand and to sit down with regular appointments and walk them through this, because this is too much. Like as I said, Tim and I were busy last week. I was busy. Tim was busy. I didn't even see the crash coming because I wasn't looking at it.
Last week I wanted to smash my phone.
Yeah, I wouldn't even look at that crash as oh, I wish I could have sold before or anything. One, time in the market beats timing the market every time. You don't know what's going to happen. Even though I do TA every day and I'm looking at the charts, I have no idea. I have no idea if it's actually going to go up and down. All I can do is look at the data and see what it's telling me and hope to God that I'm right. I'm as accurate as the weatherman. So
right. So while we're still doing this, I wanted to go back to some of the other comments because I didn't get all the way through it. Some of these are funny. So Gary Matthews said that he would have done it on Pancake Swap. Keto Lion said he would get ETH. Mark Lisa said Scale. Has anybody heard of that?
What is Scale?
I don't know. Labrador 1229 said he would spend it at the beer store.
I will say that somebody commented on a video today of mine about Scale. I haven't looked into it, so yeah.
Yeah. Of course, we got a lot of Matic here. ETH, straight into Matic.
Here's a question: How come
Dan
we don't?
Says he would. Sorry, Dan says he'd take his wife out of province whenever we can leave the island. So I'm assuming He means Prince Edward Island, or he could mean Vancouver Island, or he could mean Newfoundland. Yeah. Dan, you'll have to let us know which island you're on. Go ahead, Tim. Sorry.
We talk a lot about it, but we don't hear a lot about Celsius. How come? How come I don't know. How come it's not up in light like Matic and all this other?
It's not the same. So like when you're looking at something like Matic, okay, so Celsius is great when you don't want to think about it, right? It's centralized, so you have a central body that's organizing everything, but you have the benefit of central bodies, right? You're used to central bodies. These central bodies hold your paycheck every week. They're licensed, they're regulated in New York, so you know they get regular audits. Their whole blockchain is open to the public, so we can all view all their wallets and make sure that they're not paying us with user deposits or anything like that, so we know nothing nefarious is happening. They give some of the best APYs in the industry for just straight up interest. They're making money, though, how we make money in DeFi. They're lending out our crypto, earning a yield, but they're lending out to big market makers like Binance, Coinbase, right? So they're obviously able to make money on our yield. They just give us back 80% of it, and they keep the rest. So that's how Celsius stays afloat and pays us such lucrative rates. They're basically doing what the banks are doing, but not being stingy about it. When you're looking at something like Matic, that's really taking DeFi into your own hands and learning exactly how to work this. Because if you think of exactly what Celsius is doing, they're loaning our deposits to Binance. Usually that has collateral backing it, so we know that our funds are generally safe. But when you're talking about something like Matic, or in my case, PolkaSwap, I'm putting my money into the system and people are trading with it. I'm essentially doing exactly what Celsius is doing, but on my own. I don't need Celsius. So it's the difference of whether or not you want to learn DeFi and learn these systems. I've said it before, PancakeSwap is great. I love that Gary's using it. ApeSwap is also a really good one on the BSC, so you can go buy Banana and stake your Banana and BNB token. It has great APYs, 240%, so just to dip your toes into it. But absolutely, if you want to look into things like Matic, things like PSwap, I would absolutely encourage you to do that. And especially if you hold a little bit of Cardano too, Sunday Swap's going to come out. These DeFi decentralized exchanges are the future. So it's basically just understanding, okay, like what are you comfortable with in terms of risk? What are you comfortable with in terms of technical learning, how to set up your MetaMask? Or do you just want to get the best APY in the industry? Maybe Celsius is the bet for you. So you really got to pick what's right for you.
Yeah, like Celsius is considered CFI, centralized.
Yeah, exactly.
And there is a need for it for, like, you know, the people who want the risk averse stuff. So there's definitely a heavy need for it. I think just Celsius went under the radar and then just went absolutely ballistic from like a penny to $7, like Aave kind of did. Because I remember being in Aave when it was up 50x, and yet nobody was talking about it on social media, and I thought that was weird. And I didn't hear about Celsius till $4. Like I heard like a slight, you know, oh, this is like Aave, and then next I knew it was $4. But
I got lucky. I got into the whole thing when I started buying crypto back in 2020. The first thing that I thought is, oh, I can earn an interest on my crypto and I get paid back in crypto instantly. What is it? What's that interest? Anyway, so I looked into platforms and found Celsius. That was the big thing, compounding interest. I found Celsius, and that sparked me to understand the Cell token. So the Cell token basically works as a flywheel effect. You can earn in Cell token, and that Cell token increases how much you can earn, the loan ratio that you take. You get a bunch of benefits depending on how much Cell token you own compared to your portfolio. So the whole thing incentivizes you to hold Cell token, earn in Cell token, and buy Cell token. And every time you earn in Cell token, they're not taking it from the treasury. They're not minting new tokens for you. They're buying it off the open market. So any interest that you're earning on Cell token is bought directly from the open market and given to hodlers. It's put into my wallet, my Celsius wallet, and I'm not selling it. And I know a lot of other people aren't selling it. They're keeping it in their wallets for long-time savings. Most of their employees that got any benefits in Cell token have like multi-year lockup periods, I think like 2 to 3 years, depending on the bonus. So there's a lot of incentive to keep the Cell token within the system. So it's a pretty nice investment. And even during the drop, I think it dropped to maybe like 580, and now it's back to 672. So the Cell token's just been a truck. It's been one of my better investments of crypto.
In these times today that we're in, with where we are with the dips and the ups and downs and stuff like that, would it be, because this is probably the time to make money? Is it advisable? Is it a smart move? And I'm not asking for financial advice. I'm asking for an opinion. But to look at tokens that are farmable and that, as opposed to just tokens that you are hoping that are just going to 10x, 11x, you know what I mean? Stuff like that.
In all fairness, like Sushi Swap, all these different swaps and stuff, Pancake Swap, all these have farming for so many coins. So you can still find a coin that you really like, find it on Sushi Swap, find it on Quick Swap, find it on Pancake Swap, and pair it up and still get an LP for it and earn APY. There's plenty of options. And just to kind of like elaborate on what Haas was saying earlier, you mentioned like Polka Swap and stuff. I think the biggest, smartest thing anyone can do, and this is what I've been strategizing with Neil down there, is, you know, the Solanas, the Cardanos, the Dots, all this. If you can find the first movers of stuff within those systems, so like he mentioned Polka Swap, or like how Pancake Swap was to Binance Chain, I feel that Quick Swap and DeFi will be to Matic. So you look at the market cap of Pancake Swap and Uniswap and 1inch and all this, and they're multi-billions. And then you look at these new ones emerging on Solana and stuff like this, but I can only use QuickSwap as the reference because I know the numbers. QuickSwap's doing got $1 billion total value locked already. It's doing 500 million in transaction volume a day. It's doing crazy transactions. It was doing more transactions than Uniswap, and yet it's 100x or something less the market cap than Uniswap. So it's another no-brainer for me. That will it do 100x? No guarantees. But is it going to be probably higher up from where it is right now? Yes. And that's same with DeFi is going to be doing cross-chain swapping. So that's why that's like my longer-term play for within the Matic system. But if you can find a Polka swap, you know, like on DOT, that's the first swap. And just the way, because Cake did, I don't even know, ungodly gains because it was the first leading swap on Binance Chain.
And that's the thing. There's nothing special about Cake. It's a direct copy from Ethereum, right? So like it's quick and it's cheap. That's it. That's all it takes. So just think about that. It just quick and cheap has won the market. Think of how open this market is for competitors. So and also like, you know, like that Neil had brought to light this because Cards, which was a launch pad for coins on Cardano, went absolutely berserk. So he brought to mention
Polystarter.
Polar. Polystarter, although I do not recommend getting into it. There's no, like, I've looked over it. It would be a gamble big time because there's no team, there's no anything. So I'd be very wary. So it's just fun money if you want to gamble on that. But it's already up a 60x in a couple days because it's the first launch pad on the Matic system. So you find these first in all these systems that are hot, like Solana and stuff like that, and you can make a lot of money. And obviously they're offering crazy APY. So I'm early to QuickSwap, obviously, and it's onboarding a lot of coins, and it's looking like it's going to do what I expect it to do. And I'll make more money off that than I will even than Matic. All these like main networks will give you safe gains, but the first movers on those networks that are doing launch pads, swaps, you know, APY yield farms and stuff like that, there's all bets are off on the gains that you can make off on them, but just don't obviously hedge your bets with the safer ones.
So here's a chicken and an egg conversation or question. So do you think we will have more mass adoption once we have people that are like financial advisors advising people what to do? Or do you think it'll go the exact opposite way, that there'll just be so many people that will jump in on their own and try to learn it, and then the institutions will pick it up and then they will do it? Like, I keep thinking to myself, kind of what you said, Haz, like at some point somebody's going to see the business model in here. We said it to Tim Perry long time ago when we first started chatting with him, that is what should happen. Somebody should step in. If there was people doing that and doing the investments the way that they do it now, if you go to any bank, if you go to any financial advisors, they help people with their investment selections. Do you think that's when the mass adoption for all of this is going to happen?
I think before that, most likely what we'll see is some sort of revolutionary platform that is easy to use and onboards people. Like you look at how, maybe not a great example, but like I'm thinking like an auto investment, like even Wealthsimple as like their auto investing. There's going to be products and services that come out like that. But I agree that I think mass adoption, at least for a lot of the population, because a lot of people don't want to learn about the nitty gritty about blockchain. A good amount of people. It doesn't really matter the age. It could be regardless of age. It's all about interest. So a lot of people like talking to an advisor and like having someone that they can trust to answer certain questions to. So I think the industry is super new, but I definitely think we're going to see consultants and advisors pop up around the area, whether it be DeFi advisors or just crypto advisors altogether. I can definitely see somebody managing crypto portfolios with DeFi, also like providing liquidity pools and maybe taking a small percentage off all the yields. If you have 1,000 customers, that's really lucrative, even if you're taking 1% of everyone's earnings, right? So
it's exactly what my brother-in-law said.
Mm-hmm. I think it's like the internet, right? Not everyone was using the internet in 1995 because it was still a little more complicated.
Yeah.
So right now, I obviously it'll come, but like Haas said, I think with cross-chain swapping, because you want a coin right now, you got to go fishing, right? You got to go to whatever exchange holds it. Soon there will be, cross-chain swapping will allow you to just sit on one exchange and go all the way across. That'll happen. Addresses, I'm sure, will get less complicated. But you hear rumblings, like I've heard rumblings of Royal Bank possibly having Bitcoin portfolio with your savings account. So once you see that, then it'll be a lot easier for people. But the last week, I can tell you, absolutely scared the living crap out of pretty much anybody from wanting to get into, the average person from getting into crypto right now. Because my phone, between having to help people, guide people, and Nancy, you talk about, there's a market for these people. You'd have to pay me a lot of money to deal with the amount of crap that I have to listen to so many people that I've gotten into crypto already. Like I regret a lot some certain people that I've gotten into crypto because my phone won't stop. They blame me for everything.
Oh, come on. Really?
Yeah. And it's kind of like, at least Neil's following me. Like, Neil's, if I tell Neil something, he usually goes, oh, you might be right. But I've had a couple friends who were like, I've gotten them into Aave at $60. So like, it's still up a ridiculous amount. But this last week it dropped to $250, right? So they call and were like freaking out on me. I'm like, what are you talking about? You're still up, number one. And they're like, well, I don't know what to do, and da-da-da-da, and I was like, no, I sold. And they went, well, listen, why didn't you tell me I sold? I'm like, because you have $1,000 that you started with, and fees are $500 pretty much on gas the day that would have been when it was $250 to get out. So I wasn't going to make you lose money knowing that Aave is going to go back up. And it was just like, it was in that kind of mindset where it's like, you're up 5x, and yet you're still sweating because you're down 5x. And I was like, I got to stop with people because people aren't taking their own accountability for what they've lost, or their actions.
There's a huge part of that in like the emotional aspect. To go on to something that you did say, and you mentioned this, is that we are looking at the beginning. Right? This is like the beginning. And again, like crypto advisors are coming, right? All this is going to happen. But eventually, these systems are going to be so well done and so clean and flushed out in 10, 15 years, whenever that is, that any person, no matter the skill level, is going to be able to go on, see their balance, stake it, and get a yield. No problem, no fuss. It's going to happen. We're just in the early stages of the internet. The early stages of the internet wasn't easy to use. You had to set up your dial up and everything else. Every time the phone rang, you get disconnected. Right, so there's a lot of pains that happens, and even if you like anyone that's watched some of my streams, I've been on PSwap lately. I have to go onto the Sora network and actually go and like do all this convoluted stuff to get my rewards. All of that is eventually going to be flushed out in time, and you can expect eventually we're going to have products built on blockchains that are going to be super easy to use. That's why like I don't personally like the Aave platform because, you know, I can get a better APY somewhere else, but it's very easy to use, which is why I would buy Aave. It's the same reason why I don't have an iPhone. There it is. I don't have an iPhone, but I still buy Apple stock, right? Like, I know where it's going, regardless of whether or not I like the phone or not.
Aave's lending for whales, basically, anyways.
Yeah.
The average guy's priced out on Aave. And that's why I like yield credit, which unfortunately hasn't done much, but I still love it because it's peer-to-peer lending with fixed interest. And you also get paid to borrow. So, and it's been hurt by the fees, right? So when it moves on to Phantom Network, I expect that to start getting more and more traction because then you'll be able to do, you know, $200 loans for the average person and not pay $30 in gas. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting. But Ryan, you going back a little bit, but you get the same thing about that Tim Perry got when you're talking on your channel about different stocks that you buy and sell and this and that. People get on you too, right?
I'm sure even if Haas ever even breathes a token or a ticker that doesn't do well, he's going to get the same thing. But like, yeah, you even look in the direction of a stock that goes anywhere but the moon, there's going to be people who blame you and say that you're the worst person on the planet. And it's like, it got to very briefly bothered me. And then it started kind of juicing me up where I don't know, but that's just, you got to just forget these people because at the end of the day, like, there's gonna be people, okay, who watch this in 3 or 4 months from right now, who get all hyped up on Matic, okay, and they're gonna buy it. Although it's not necessarily maybe the right time to buy Matic, but they're still gonna do it because they saw this stream at that moment. And then they're gonna come back and think we're all stupid because we were talking about Matic on the random day that they decided to watch the video. So that's just, people really do have to do their own research and due diligence and realize that the 7 of us here, okay, are doing our own thing to the best of our own abilities, and you got to do your research. But again, there's just people out there.
We're presenting them with some information, and it's up to them to do their due diligence on it and make a final decision. You know, we're not pulling the trigger for them.
Like I've always said, I'm here directly to augment your research, right? So I'll bring you any relevant information that I have. I'm not always going to be correct, and that it is what it is. I'll correct myself when I'm not correct. But it is up to you to kind of look into the nitty gritty.
Well, Corey said, if my friends ask me about crypto, I send them the link to Ryan, the Danter's pages.
Oh, God.
But meanwhile, where are we doing?
Too. This guy.
I was going to say, where am I getting my research? I'm going over to Haas's channel and I'm watching Haas, or Tim's calling Tim Perry. Like,
as a quick plug for Haas HODLs, now different name. Used to be Onyx Block if you did it, but now it's Haas HODLs. What I like about your channel, dude, and this isn't just like spooning and stuff, I'm literally saying, but for the beginners out there who are more like me too, Haas obviously goes pretty deep into it, but he doesn't have like a 3-hour long video where it's just nonstop BS that you don't understand. He has a way of doing it quick and concise where you're not bored. So seriously, guys, if you haven't already had a chance, it's now Haas HODLs. So go check that out.
Yeah, maybe my Tim can put the banner. Tim's putting the banner up so we can put the channel in there. But this is how we.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, it's good information.
Is that right?
I think it's
that's it. HAWS. No, that's how I have it spelled. So that's an old story. Basically, back when I was a kid, because my full name is Hassan. But all my friends called me Haas, HASS. But a game that we all used to play used to bleep out my name because, you know, the obvious HASS, right? So it's always been Haas for me ever since I was like 13, 14. So that just kind of stuck. So I figured Haas HODLs makes the most sense.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Well, I was thinking that maybe what we could do is give away a book again. I know Tim and Ryan want to pull their hair out with it because the books, we built some Candlestick confidential books to help you write down a few of your stuff. The monthly planner. There's oh my goodness, what did I do here? an investment watch list. This is where I write it all down. When you guys see me writing stuff down, I'm always writing down. And I'm like, who said that? Who? Because here's my thing. It's not just about writing it down. I'm like, who gave me that term? Or who told me to do that? Because sometimes it's Tim Perry, sometimes it's Haas. And so, and there's definitely a place for you to put your passwords, because that was the one thing. My God, the passwords. Are you using
the same book? Are you using the same book, or is it all over all 3 books you've got?
She's on volume 12.
You know, Tim, honestly, where's your damn book? Where's your book? Why are we the bookkeeper? You write the stuff down.
Oh yeah, we're live, all right.
You notice how we're in different
without
locations?
a net. Yeah.
Good thing you guys are in different rooms.
Yeah.
We're in different locations. We're 2 hours away from each other.
Air rage.
No. It's called being locked down in an 800 square foot box with the same person for over a year and a half. You're gonna go crazy after a while.
This pandemic has been nuts on like everyone.
Try moving back in with your parents.
Oh, Tim Perry. It was joyful, wasn't it, living with your parents?
My parents are getting older, so it's like taking care of like 3-year-olds now. So I'm like, this is what it feels like.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live with my parents. Good Lord, that would be a nightmare during this time. I don't know how my little brother does it.
Oh God.
And my Tim Danter, I could just see how our children talk about us now. God, we wouldn't want to live with them.
Well, you know. Hey,
I've been out since 17, and my brother's he's 20. Well, I'll be 30 in like 2 weeks. He'll be 29 in like a month. So we're pretty much the same age, give or take. He's still at mom and dad's. He's cool with it. He loves it. Takes his Snapchats like he owns the place. I've been friggin' on my own though. Couldn't go back since 17 years old. Out the door. Out. I couldn't go back. I don't know.
I put myself in a rock and a hard place. I was living with my ex-girlfriend. And obviously, had to move out in the middle of the night. Not going to get into the details, but moved out in the middle of the night.
That's a good story.
Left Ottawa, everything. Was heading to my buddies, and then my car broke down. I lost all 3 jobs because I was a bartender in Ottawa. Lost all 3 jobs to COVID. Car breaks down on the 401 with all my stuff packed. So I was like, oh
man. Did you ever think about the gravity of like how crypto is and has changed our lives so dramatically?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, just a couple of years ago, there was nothing in my savings account. I just got into stocks and everything else. Like, you know, not really like doing anything like happy with my life. And now here we are, right in like the middle of this bull market, and it seems like everything's changed, regardless of what's happening in the global situation. This 2020, 2021 has kind of been good to us. I would have to say.
The biggest blessing of my life was at the time, right? That was like a 24-hour period. And I'm just exhausted. And then I just started hitting crypto hard. And like, I'm not going to tell you where I'm at, what I'm doing, but I mean, I'm making more than I would bartending. So, and you know, now it's like, why move out? Why not why not keep doing what I'm doing? And then I'll just buy a place. Screw renting.
I thought you were going to say, why move out?
No, every day I'm thinking about moving out, but I got to be smart.
Well, and you know what's funny is we're all different ages and stages. So Tim and I are about 10 years from retirement. If we can make this really go, then maybe a little sooner than 10 years for one of us. And that one would not be me. And and you got Tim, you're at a different stage. Haas is you're even younger. Ryan's younger. Ken and Neil, you got young families because Neil, you got little girls. Ken, are your girls little too? You got a boy and a girl.
13, 14, and 16.
Oh, you got 3? How did I not know you had 3? I thought you had 2. And you're going through the teenage phase.
Yeah,
oh, man.
yeah. So if anybody wants to, they could send me alcohol because I really could use it.
Oh,
send them some vouchers.
Man.
The way I do is so we don't lose everyone on the goal for crypto, I think for everybody should be obviously make gains, but get them in a sicker passive income plays, like I've said before, with lending, loaning, doing all that stuff, you know, staking, all that, because hopefully if I get up to a certain number, I'll be able to constantly make, you know, the money I made all year in bartending, just staking, lending, and doing all that stuff through crypto.
That's one thing too, dude. And obviously on the crypto side, stock side, whatever, everybody's always trying to hunt that unicorn trade. And especially when we're in like a bull cycle, for instance, when there's anything you hear is just hype, okay, and it's just going to the freaking moon. Hunting that unicorn trade seems possible in your brain when you're backed up by the media or by just constant being just peddled and just peppered with all of this information. People really got what you just said. Like sometimes it might be boring to buy and let things sit. Nothing wrong with staking and growing that seriously consistent, safe and reliable income as opposed to hunting that unicorn. I don't know where you guys are at, but I know on my channel I deal with people looking forward, and I myself am like, when is the best time? It's like, oh my god, dollar cost average in, Ryan. Like, what am I thinking? You know what I mean? But there's so much of that going around, and I wanted to just highlight what Tim just said, because nothing wrong with taking the kind of slow and steady route if it's going to be safe and in the long run. And like Tim said, it adds up. It adds up. The same with if a stock guy, dividends, right? It all adds up. But at the end of the day, you can make a hell of a lot more stake in crypto side, but nothing wrong with doing that. Just wanted to highlight that.
You can avoid the volatility as well. Like, my buddy just showed me an alpha leak, which was he's been staking just his stables, so his stable coins, and getting Matic and Sushi.
Yeah, you can earn crypto with your stable coins. 100%.
He's not even in the volatility, and because he's obviously banking that he thinks everything's going down, so he's not even banking on that. And you could do that with lending as well. So there's avenues in crypto. Obviously, I'm in it for gains right now. I still think I can make those gains, but at some point, if there's a heavier bear market, or if I've made enough that like I'm at a healthy thing, I'm gonna move. I'm gonna literally just sit in stables. I'm going to do staking with stables. I'm going to do lending with stables, and I'm going to farm with stables. And you don't even have to be in the volatility, worrying about going up or down, and still make free money.
Yeah, and I would say like a big thing, is age, right? Because I get this asked a lot. Like, is it too late? I'm begging my parents. Like, I literally like force my dad. Hey, it's time to buy. Shell out $200 out of your paycheck. Like, give it over, right? And I invest it for him. It's not too late. No matter what age you are, no matter how close to retirement you are, whatever stage in your life, I don't care. Throw a little bit into cryptocurrency. If you don't want to take a risk, throw it into Bitcoin. Earn an interest on your Bitcoin. Do whatever it is. Just get involved. Whatever. Just throw some money in. I get comments for people saying that they're 17 years old in cryptocurrency. You know how excited I would be to be 17 and in crypto? That's insane. You're going to be a millionaire by the time you're 25 if you play your cards right. As long as you don't do anything stupid. But if you're here and holding, it's not too late, no matter where you are in life. Just buy crypto.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Manny says, Haas, HODLs, you're a G. I love your channel. There you go.
Appreciate it, man.
I wasn't going to say that, but anyways, so Surah is saying that he said, where can we stake in stable?
I'll have to get back to you on where you can actually farm and earn coins for just staking your stables. But I mean, there's multiple.
You can always do something like I think I could be wrong, but I think you can stake. Yeah, no, I believe you can. I'm looking through it right now. I think in PancakeSwap you can stake BUSD and earn cake or the other way around. I'm not quite sure, but there are platforms out there. If you just want to earn an APY, you can easily earn like 10% on any fiat currency in terms of USD. You can throw that in Celsius, BlockFi. You can earn around 9%, but
you could do like a little risk and do half stable, half Matic or whatever it is.
I'm not a fan of that. So this is why I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of doing stable coin. Yeah, impermanent loss. So that's the big thing. So the big thing to understand when you're providing liquidity is if I provide $1 of stable coin, $1 of Bitcoin, hypothetically, it's a 1-to-1. So if Bitcoin goes up and the stable coin stays, I'm getting more stable coin than Bitcoin, right? I think that's how it works.
Whatever goes up the most, the fastest,
you get less of.
Yeah.
I don't want fiat currency. I don't want fiat currency. Why would I be on fiat? That's why any liquidity pools that I do provide is like for Pancake, I provide Cake, BNB, Reef, and BNB. For PokeSwap, Zor and PSwap, Zor and Val token, right? I'm providing crypto and crypto pairs. I'm not providing stablecoin pairs. I don't like it personally.
No, I don't either. But you and I are built a little different, right? Whereas some people who maybe don't mind that impermanent loss, but not being in two coins, like I'm in Matic and Quick. If they both just went to hell, I'm left with pretty much nothing. Whereas at least if you're in a USDC and one, then yeah, you might get hit, but. Yeah, I don't know. I obviously agree with you because if I pair up coins now, like everything I'm paired up in, say DeFi and Root, 550% APY right now. Both of those coins, I think, are just at the start of their journey. So everything I'm making on that one day, that's just free money that not only right now am I making, I'm up to about $80 a day US between my Root and DeFi, but what's that going to turn into down the pipeline when DeFi, which is $4 now, is most likely could be $100, $200 coin. That'll be what what I did now will set me up for way better in the future.
You're talking the future as towards the end of the summer, the end of this year. Is that what you're talking as the short-term future?
So basically, I'm like I said, I'm going to be very boring for the next few months. I am going to be I'm literally not touching most of my coins other than maybe just moving some around. If one's peaked more, I'll go back into one that's been lagging. But I'm going to be in Matic at least until ETH version 2 starts really showing its colors. I'm hearing this thing about Arbitrum, which I need to read more about. They're saying it's a threat to layer 2s and stuff and sidechains. I don't think so. But I'm going to ride Root and DeFi till at least late fall for sure, because September is when DeFi's supposed to come out with their cross-chain swap, when it's going to be fully integrated. And obviously Router is the aggregator for liquidity between all that for DeFi and stuff. So those two kind of go hand in hand. I do expect Router to be a way bigger gains in the long run. Obviously, I've told you that's my favorite small cap. Whereas like QuickSwap and DeFi are both swaps technically on the Matic chain. But I right now I just think Quick has the advantage with total value locked of liquidity and also more onboarded coins that are coming to it. But in the end, with the cross-chain swapping, I kind of favor DeFi a little more long-term. But I'm literally just going to be in those 4 coins for probably the next 3 months, which is good because I was going to take off anyways and disappear. So.
Oh, that's but you know what? That's good. That's good advice. Because I think Tim and I have been talking about wanting to get a little bit more clear on what our direction is too, because we got a lot of coins on the go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be a big problem.
I just wanted to say,
when you have
having too many coins.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And always try to, because to this day, like I did not psychologically handle the dip either at all, like perfectly. I wasn't crapping my pants by any means, but I was definitely like evaluate. And this is why I came up with, I was like, I need to, because I'm like, it could be a bear trend. And if it's a bear trend, I like the coins I'm in. There's got to be some bear, APY farmings that I can find. And obviously I went looking and found that. That way I know I'm still making money, as opposed to trying to always sell out into US dollar in case it dips and buy back in, because no one's perfect and I might lose more money that way. So this is a safe way to kind of balance that out, but always take a step back and reflect on the emotions you're feeling. I've always said, if you're worried when your coin goes down, you're most likely over leveraged in it. Like when Matic dropped to 80 cents the other day and then did a 100% rebound, I remember Neil had called me that day. He's like, oh, it's back over $1. I'm like, Neil, I wasn't even looking at the price. I didn't even want to know, because I was that comfortable being in Matic. Whereas when I was in Union, as much as I love Union, I was every day checking the price and being a little more. So that also, just the psychological of when I'm in and knowing how big the narrative is, and I can see DeFi Pulse and the total value locked of Matic going up, the transactions beating out Binance Chain and Ethereum. It just, I sleep so well at night. And I don't even look at, it's weird because for 12 months straight, I've been go, go, go. And now I'm like, I don't even know what to do with myself.
Oh, I'm sure you will invent something.
Ken, by the way, I've been sitting on this for like a friggin' hour now. you look like you're filming the Blair Witch Project. I'm sorry. That's just what it is right now. I've been sitting on this for like an hour. Had to say it.
Someone's going to creep out.
Say it, buddy.
I'm running.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Well, we had a winner pick, but I think he just left. So it was supposed to be Keto Lion, but he just said he's got to bounce. So I don't know if he even knows that there was such a good conversation going on that I was like, I can't let him know that he's won the book. So what we'll do is we'll give him a book, but we'll check on Sunday night if he's on your show, Ryan. We'll just let him know that he won.
I was going to say, Keto is on my channel and yours so consistently that I'm sure he will find he's not a fly-by-night type of viewer, this guy. If you guys don't recognize the name, he's here all the time.
So what we're going to do, the one guy that keeps asking over and over and over for a book is Shukan. Shukan, if you go into our about section, you'll find Tim's email address, or there's a link down below, Tim, and just shoot us your. Oh my gosh, you can tell I'm on holidays. I'm not thinking.
What does the word start with? An A?
Just contact them.
You got to contact us to let us know how to get you a book, basically. Where your email
address. Shipping details, buddy.
Shipping details. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. You got my back. I appreciate it. And we'll just we'll let Keto Lion know on Sunday that we'll send him one too. No big deal.
Nice. We're gonna have a lot of people with these books. This is awesome.
Yep.
This
is awesome.
This is why I get really good at reading charts, so I don't have to do giveaways. I don't want to put up with it. I'm joking.
Well, I know. See, we don't have that gift, Haas. We have to do the giveaways.
But you know what's nice about the little giveaways too, though? It is, it might sound, because there is different perspectives on this. Honestly, with the giveaways, the giveaways represent very little of incoming, so I wouldn't say it's anything about that. The giveaways, though, it's a really nice way. For instance, I really do. It sounds kind of corny. I do believe for the Tim and Nancy Danter channel, though, and my channel, these givebacks are a really nice way to kind of just throw it back at the community because, like, these channels have provided me, again, like Haas was saying, how much of our lives changed since all of this started getting going. My life pulled a 180. I know, and literally, guys, and I mean a 180. They have loved every second of this. I know Haas loves doing what he's doing. Everyone here loves popping on. So I think, outside of the little gimmicky aspect of it, it's a really nice way to throw back, especially like Keto, who's been here forever. You know what I mean? But I actually really like these giveaways. I don't even think I gain anything from them anymore. I'm just giving away money at this point.
It's a way to engage with the community. 100%.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Well, and we did it. I did it really dedicating it to the nickel and dime crew, because that's how it all really started, was how can you go from nothing, no money down, with just some ingenuity and some sweat equity and working our guts out. We started it January 1st. So we're coming close to June 1st. That's half a year of doing this. That's a lot of additional time and energy, but it's so rewarding from the community standpoint and from getting to hang out with you guys and learning stuff all the time. Like, I feel like a different person in 6 months. I have learned so much. And you know what? No matter what you say about the pandemic, that has given me some time to think about this. Like, I would have never, ever taken the time to spend this much time to learn about cryptocurrency. I would have never done it. I will
say this, it might be a slightly controversial point, so I won't express it exactly how I feel it. But what I will say is that there has been a significant amount of people who've been able to turn the frown upside down, so to speak, with respect to this pandemic and kind of make of it what they will. And I know on my end, I know on Haas's end, Tim Perry, Tim and Nancy Danter, Ken, we got Neil. Oh my God, I didn't screw up any names. So, but we've been turning it around like nonstop. And honestly, it is what you make of it, guys. And especially when you're down and out, it is what you make of it. So I just, I can get into that for like an hour long kind of thing. And I know that they listen to it all the time, so I won't. But just keep in mind, guys, every one of us has been down, like, I mean, in describing where we all started, and things are changing. And like Ken said, and then Tim and Nancy reiterated, when we add the community aspect to this whole thing, that's what makes this game changing and different than any other YouTube little group or community. I might have my channel, Haas's channel, they have their channel. When you bring people together, really, like these comments and then a 7-way discussion, that's what makes this possible for the everyday person to ask normal questions. And I don't know. This whole journey has been amazing for me from start to now. I love it.
Yeah, and I think it's going to get tougher again before it gets better. Everything might open up as we get vaccinated, but I got to tell you guys, the price of food is going through the roof for many, many, many reasons. I think we are heading for times that we've not seen before. I'm not saying it as a doomsdayer. I'm saying it as a person that this is what I do. I read commodity reports. I get commodity reports. I can tell you right now, salmon's going to be a problem. They can't, any sort of seafood is going to be a huge problem. They can't get shipping containers from overseas to bring the product over to Canada. We don't have enough salmon that has been farmed. Like, there's problems like you can't even understand. Go ahead, Tim.
Oh, I was just saying it's across the board. Copper, like my buddy was just telling me, copper's just gone through the roof. I mean, wood, lumber, everything's at an all-time high. Like, there's something screwy happening. So yeah, you got to protect yourself.
Yeah.
And nobody's talking
during times of war and conflict.
See, Ryan, I was telling you, copper.
Oh,
I mentioned, and I'm not into anything. I know I'm not into copper right now. Not funny enough, but what happened last week actually gave me a real kind of kick in the butt with respect to how I need to start reevaluating how I'm going forward. For instance, not that I sold anything, but I think that I need to put significantly more effort into researching the purchase as opposed to just buying on the sentiment, which is what all retail traders seem to do. And this is what's driving this up and down wild BS with retail traders. Even, for instance, I was just reading this 20 minutes ago, I guess, while you guys were chit-chatting. So Friday, we've got a $2.1 billion options expiry with bears leading by $500 million. So that's going to throw some serious volatility into the shake as well. Little things like that, though, I never would have even thought to judge. Now, obviously, though, getting into a buying strategy like Haas is a big proponent, the dollar cost averaging, that's again how Tim and Nancy started explaining things to me. Dollar cost averaging, it's your best friend. But I think my big takeaway from everything, whether it be stocks or crypto, is that if I can't literally answer a question that a normal person would ask me, for instance, whether it be like across the board on the big three, for instance, I got to do way more research. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm doubling down on research. That's going to be where I spend almost all my time now, is figuring out why I'm buying what I'm buying so that the FUD doesn't happen again. Because quite honestly, if you're really convicted on something that you're in love with, you want to buy it, you know why you own it, you don't experience that FUD. And I thought that I knew I loved Ethereum, I loved this, whatever, right? But yet I freaked out in the back of my head. So clearly I need to do more research and get more involved really with the market and its place in the market. But that's where I'm going. I don't know what started that little tangent, but I think that's where I'm going.
Jay, young man, you're 100% right, and that's why I'm buying VeChain, buddy. But going to Nancy's point, because you brought up something good, and people are talking about this, right? The downfall of the economy is coming as we know it. How that's going to happen or manifest is a completely different deal. We could see everything on board to CBDCs, but we know Ray Dalio specifically has been a huge talker of how we can't keep going this sustainable route. We know Michael Burry has been saying that, the stock market can't keep going the way. You know that inflation, they're not reporting M2 reports anymore to you, so we don't know how much USD is actually being printed. We have no idea anymore. We're completely, don't look at the man behind the curtains. Keep doing what you're doing. Just buy your money. Use your fiat currency. Buy drinks. Buy the things that you're addicted to on a day-to-day basis, whether that be fast food. Maybe I'm hitting home for a lot of people because this is where I was, right? I was buying stupid crap with fiat currency, this declining asset for a dying system. So when you actually look at what's happening in the future, cryptocurrency is where it's going to go. We're going through a big transition, and I think inflation is a big identifier. So seeing things like supply chains and everything else not being sustainable in the long term, that's a big problem. When you look at the renewable energy problem, solar panels and wind power isn't going to fix the issue. It doesn't produce enough. We need to supply the grid with more energy, which is why we say natural gas is renewable, which it clearly isn't. There's a lot of problems that need to be solved.
And there's other things that we aren't talking about, just to your point. Like you talk about renewable energy and everybody's all gung-ho and excited about electric vehicles. But we don't have enough
Coal plants are powering those Teslas.
But we don't have enough to be sustainable. We have a very good friend that works for a big trucking company. And he was telling me that in the state of California, they're going to outlaw the sale of diesel trucks. I think he said in 2025. Okay, where's the infrastructure to backfill that? And that's the state of California. And in California kind of goes like they start all this stuff and then the other states go. But where's the infrastructure that backs that all up? It's no different than when I sit on councils where the Canadian government or the Ontario government wants to have local food. Okay, great. You can go ahead and mandate that, but if you haven't got the farmers geared up so that they are all federally inspected so that it can get into one of our buildings so that we can get it out, you can't just produce apples overnight. No. You need to grow apple orchards over time. You can't. So some of the stuff that the government comes up with, that's great. But you need to have a plan to put that in place, and that's nobody's talking about this stuff.
Yeah. If you look at everything, here's something to scare everyone watching, everyone a part of this, everyone. The big thing is we can't continue on this planet at the population that we're at consuming this amount of stuff. That is a blanket statement, and that's it. It's over. The population needs to either dramatically go down or our consumption needs to dramatically go down. One of the two.
There's only one real answer, even though
there's only one real answer.
Yeah, no, with respect to like consumption's not going to go down, especially as our technological needs increase. Population is an issue. Yeah. That's probably the scariest thing to say, but at the same time, well, listen, you might have a different opinion, Haas, but I truly believe that in what the two things you just said, one is, you can reduce consumption. That does not satisfy like the human need to progress and grow and change. And like the natural resources that we're going to use, whether it be fossil fuels right now or lithium and cobalt, whatever it is, there's always going to be that need for that basic amount of resource. But I think it's a population issue.
You speak of human need, but all I see is a whole lot of human greed, right? Like we don't.
Yeah, that's not going to change though, Tim.
But
like, that's not going to change, man.
That's on our fault, and those people will get eaten alive, and stuff will.
A perfect world would ideally be like each individual county is just governing themselves, like no big central. Like you can have federal government, but we shouldn't be relying on California for our food, for our produce, right? 100%. We should be getting everything locally. That's how everything should be, but it's not that way.
There's a great meme. There's a great meme now of like who wants the world to change, and everyone puts their hands up, and then the guy goes, and who's willing to change for, to benefit the world, and they all put their hands down. The fact is, like, I've worked with people in diet and nutrition and stuff, alternative therapies, and I've seen so many people just, nope, not changing my ways. Okay, then suffer. Like, I don't really care. And that's where
it's easier than you think, right? A lot of people don't know about this about me specifically. I used to be 300 pounds at one point, lost all that weight. Now I'm a smooth 200 pounds, well jacked, right? Everything's good, everything's running. But food, man, that's a hard addiction to beat, no matter what. That's
sure, but it's acknowledging that you have. Most people don't think that some foods are addictions.
They're 100% an addiction.
Yeah, but some people will say no, right? Like my mom, I'm trying to get her off. Like she's a hardcore dairy drinker, and I'm trying to be like, just ease up on the milk. And she's like, that's not what's causing, da 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 da. Yet she's the only one with osteoporosis, and obviously I've been in this realm for the last 10 years. So it's like, well, Mom, there's a lot of facts showing that milk is actually the opposite of that. And I'm like, you have an addiction. If you can't quit it, then you have an addiction. I'm not addicted to milk. And then she just keeps buying. So like, you know, and to segue back into like crypto, right? Like we also need to, like, crypto's an addiction, right? And if you're not changing your bias in times when things are looking bearish and you're just going, oh, it's going to do this, and you're not protecting your capital and preserving it, you don't have, and you're over leveraged and you watch it all go to town, because I've been there and I've learned that lesson. So this is why, like I warned everyone last week, change your ways. So, you know, this whole move to my farming and stuff is so at the end of my vesting period in that 30 days, what I've made in that 30 days that was extra, I'm now going to start putting in my bank account.
Oh, and I guarantee you sleep easier at night, but
yeah, exactly. Because it's not like, you know, I've started with money that I was afforded to lose, but I also don't want to lose everything that I've gained now, because that's just stupid.
No,
you know,
that's smart.
You see all these people now, you know, and so many people I had a few friends who literally are never going back into the market over the last week. They've been scared out of it. And I've seen that happen 4 times now I've seen so many friends get into crypto and then leave after the first shakeout. So you kind of see how that works. But yeah, I don't know. It's just,
hey, but you know what, Tim Perry, there's an interesting thing what you said about your mom and the milk and cryptocurrency, because it's old ways of thinking. We got to do things in the new way. And the reason that conjured up is, so my brother just congratulated you on your weight loss, Haas. Hi, Angus. But my brother's a big proponent of doing alternative things as well. Like he does the whole cold shower thing, like the really cold water, cold, that whole thing. And again, that's a new way of thinking about your health. And so it does translate. It correlates we can't think the way we've always thought, or we're always going to get what we've always got. If you want to change and do something different, you got to change and do something different. You have to broaden your mind to a bigger world, to things that are different. And that's what crypto is all about. Yeah. It's
everything, you know, like you could literally analogy everything in life to, you know, like, when I used to be a big gym rat and stuff, like if I wasn't getting gains from something, I knew that I had plateaued and I had to change my program to get more gains and get beyond those plateaus. Same with Haas, probably in his diet and losing weight. He would hit plateaus, so he would maybe evolve on stuff.
So I know exactly what you're talking about gains. You're making me super sad right now, because I haven't been in the gym in goddamn months. That is the one worst part about this pandemic, is I lost all this weight. I got jacked, right? I have a bunch of muscle under the shirt. I know I don't show it, but like I just can't get into the gym, and it's driving me up the wall. I'm just
but then calisthenics, right? Like hit a tree branch and do.
I've been trying, man. I'm a little bit big to do handstands. My balance is all off. I'm a really good squatter. I squat 300 pounds, but you know, like handstand I can't do.
You've proven you're changing, but like I'm one of those people. I'm a tough love kind of guy. So if you were telling me this, I'm like, you're just making excuses.
It's true. That is true. You're right. You're goddamn right. When you're right, you're right. I'm making excuses.
And that's why I hold myself. No, like there's a great quote by Nietzsche, which is, "The snake that does not shed its skin will soon perish."
Yeah.
Like too much in this world now. You see so many people like just taking information and not learning more information to critically think and change that way. It's same with crypto. I mean, I had 3 messages from people who were not even in crypto, who knew that I was in crypto, like, you need to be careful because crypto's a scam and stuff. I'm like, have you read anything about what is behind Bitcoin? And I'm like, and the one person said, do you know what blockchain is? I said, no. And I said, then don't come at me telling you how to live my life and what I choose to do with it until you have a lot deeper knowledge. You know, like so many people are just giving you these headline reading knowledge that they have, and they don't go deeper. And it doesn't mean the price is not going to go down and stuff, but trying to tell all these people in this room right now and in the chat that crypto is going to go to 0 or something like that, like, we'll just laugh in your face. You know,
I get downvotes on videos if I say something's going to go down, and I'm just like, well, I mean, like, guys, that's what the chart says. I don't choose. Like,
and you see that with cult-like behaviors with certain coins, right? Yeah. Like, you see some people hold coins right back down because they believe it's going to do something. And I now have learned to objectively look at something like Union. I love it, but the fact is, in bear trends, a lot of small caps may not make it, not because they don't have good teams and all this, but they need capital.
There's not enough capital. Exactly.
And if they don't have the capital, and I worked for a little coin called Taco, and it was just me and the dev pretty much when I came in on it. But short story, we were trying to get Solidity developers and front-end developers, which is insanely hard to get right now in crypto, even if you have money. And we were like 2 pennies. So we only had like 200,000 coins to offer in Taco to give to anybody that was a developer. So we couldn't attract anybody to pay them in Taco because it was such a small volume coin and stuff. So you have to take these things into consideration. So when I started noticing that OMI and stuff like this, well, OMI seems like a bigger project, but Eternity that I was in and stuff, that they don't have a huge team and they don't have this broad scape. Well, I'm going to get out of it if I saw this bearish, you know, and I wasn't even bearish at the time. I still thought some alts were going to go. But you have to then kind of like pivot and get into stronger. Like I know Matic's not going anywhere. You know, Polkadot's not going anywhere. Cardano, as much as I'm still not a fan yet, isn't going anywhere. You know, so just got to adopt, man.
Oh, that's great. So on that note, this has been great. We've had a great conversation tonight, and really appreciate everybody's time. Ken, looking like the Blair Witch Project as Ryan keeps typing in. Thanks again. Obviously, Rye guy, really appreciate it. Neil, Coin Chaser, good to see you. Haz, amazing as always. Tim Perry, thank you so much yet again. And my Timmy, I'll see you in a couple days.
The party's over, Tim. I'm sorry.
Good night, everybody.
Night, y'all.
Good night.